Okay, so this is in pretty good shape, awaiting its paper, and the paper has arrived. It's another marbling. I went for this sort of black grey with just a little splash of orange, because I think it goes very well with having a black leather. You know, contrasting it, these are the other two restorations I've done so far with leather quartering, and you know, this was sort of a blue with a dark brown. This was sort of triumph of sort of beiges and light browns. If you want to see, you know, probably the most detailed view of me actually doing this is in this particular restoration, which is the sort of leather quartering of the 1661 Cornelia Jansenii. So we're going to do this in pretty well the same way. In addition, we need to think about the inside of the book. So here's obviously the book plate that we're seeking to preserve. We only have one sort of fly paper that survived from the original binding, and it's this. It's extremely bedraggled, as you can see. It does have a cool bit of manuscript there. And a whole load of ink scattered all over from sort of wayward quills, I suppose. But it's really tatty, and there's nothing on the rear. So what I did do as well was buy this. This is I think it's meant to be a kind of a Japanese sort of paper, but actually I think will work very well as a pastedown. Obviously there'll be a hole on this cover here for the book plate to peek through. Which I think will look pretty great, but it's quite sort of it's quite a fine paper, so it'll almost be like a tissue. The fly here will almost look like a tissue. The other thing is it is translucent, so if you put something darker, you can actually see through it. So what I'm going to have to do here, I think, is maybe put a sheet of modern paper down first to cover these darker margins, so they're not really obvious, and then put the Japanese paper down on top, obviously with the hole here, so we can see this coming through. So that's kind of the plan, but yeah, I mean the book's almost, you know, pretty well complete here. I did have a go at a label. Wasn't very happy with the result. I need to treat the leather in a slightly different way, so it accepts the gilting rather better. So we'll attempt that a little later on in this video as well. All right, let's make a start. Okay, so the external paper's on. I'm keeping a close eye on this because the wrinkling, while it's not as bad as this guy was, it's still there, and I'm starting to wonder if there needs to be a slight change of strategy in terms of the way I'm gluing. But I will say it looks very attractive. So internally, this is a piece of the Japanese paper. I really do like this actually. What I've done here is I sort of recycled some of the corners from the marble paper, just turn the other way just to blank out some of the black area here. So we're in a position now to put this Japanese paper in. Now, the drawback of this paper is it is translucent. However, the advantage of this paper is, you guessed it, it's translucent. What it enables me to do is to basically you can actually just see the book plate actually very faintly underneath here. So what I'm going to do is put a cross on the Japanese paper that basically goes from corner to corner. Like so. So I know that's within the boundary of the bookplate, and what I'm going to do then is actually score that into a proper square with proper right angles, holding everything. I'm actually just using the lines of the table here as a guide, just to help me. Okay, so I'm going to carefully cut this guy out. As long as I'm in the square, it can be quite rough. But along the line of the square, it needs to be accurate. Obviously going just outside the square so I don't leave any ink on the finished product. Okay. So we centre all of our gluing on the book plate. Yeah, that's going to work. Yeah. And then we simply trim around the edges to obviously fit everything else around the book. So let's do that. So I'm sorry to Mr. Wilfred Bell, but I'm about to bury him in the historical glue. I'm sure his publishing house was very significant 100 years ago, but alas, no more. Now we do the rest of it. not going to do right to the edge because I need to obviously trim. See a view on that fabric where things are quite rough. The actual fact it's translucent. Actually, the result of that isn't necessarily. Sorry, Mr. Bell, there you go. It's not necessarily unattractive. Yeah, just goes to show that there is history buried here. Okay. So I'm going to trim the edges now. You can see the destination. This Japanese paper actually does create, there's something really authentic about it. It creates just a really nice paste down in it. You call it, you know, it kind of says, I'm only going to partially hide the history here, you know, which is kind of nice. And it also just has a nice sort of sepia tint as well that blends well just with old papers and fabrics and so on. I really like that. In fact, I like it so much, I'm rethinking what I did here. This kind of works, and I sort of conceded to the fact I've done a modern paper. I don't have any contemporary paper this size, or I didn't. But I'm now thinking, yeah, I think I'm actually going to go over this with the Japanese paper. I'll probably replace this written commentary here with something that looks a little nicer but a little older maybe. You know, so we'll see. Okay, so we'll do this trimming, do the other side, and then that'll be basically ready for the conclusion. So I've just finished gluing this on, and I have to say I'm thrilled with how this paper is turned out. It is exactly what I would have wanted. So I'm definitely going to redo this other book as well. But yeah, I mean, that's just lovely. I mean, these marks here, that's just dampness, that'll dry and disappear. It'll end up looking like this. But yeah, I'm just going to leave it like this to dry, but that is absolutely exactly what I wanted. So all the focus is just on the book plate right there. That's gorgeous. Okay, so here we go. Let's have a look. I have this just a slice of kitchen roll in here, just to, it's still just drying a little bit, but that's how the paste down and fly ended up. Really, really nice. I was really pleased with the way that did. Textbook is in really good shape. I was quite worried about wrinkling outside, but that's gone as well. So this is nice and smooth, and so the whole book's looking pretty good here. So there we go. So that completes this restoration of Baronet George Nugent's book. If you liked what you saw, give it a like. Feel free to subscribe. Any comments, put those down as well. And there we have it. On to the next restoration.